Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a 20-week anatomy scan story time. I had posted on my Instagram a poll for you guys to kind of see if you guys would be interested in this. It's something that I've been going back and forth about for a few weeks now, just because the situation that happened to me, I feel like happened for a reason, and I don't know if that's just for me personally to have personal growth from the situation, which I have, or if it's to share it on here with you guys and maybe have someone who's in a similar situation that could really benefit from hearing from this. So I talked to a couple of my friends about it, and I kind of got their opinion to see what they thought, if it's something that, you know, was maybe too personal to share, or if it's something you guys would even be interested in. And I took a poll, and over 90% of you were really interested in hearing what happened. So I'm going to attempt to remember all of the details from this story time. I do have like a little notebook. I had to write some stuff down because all of my notes are on my phone and I'm filming on my phone. So I tried to write down all of the things that I felt like were important that you guys could benefit from. And if not, it's just a story time that you guys might enjoy listening to, and just seeing, you know, the end result and all of this. So I am going to go ahead and get started. In this video might be like a 3-part video, because since I do film on my iPhone, it only allows me to upload 15-minute videos at a time. And I feel like this video is going to be pretty long. So it might be like split up into 3 different videos. So let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, so me and Dylan had our 20-week anatomy scan on August 24th. And we went in there super excited. We were really like anxious and nervous just to see Hayden and see how he was growing, because this was going to be one of the last ultrasounds that we had of him. So unless everything was perfectly fine on this ultrasound, we wouldn't have seen him again. So we were really excited to see Hayden on the sonogram. It was going to be a full anatomy scan, so they were going to look at every organ in his body, like his brain, his heart, his kidneys, everything, like his fingers, his toes, his eyes, everything. Like they were going to look at it all and just make sure that everything was okay. And so we were super excited. Originally we did want to bring like my mom and his mom and my dad and all of that, and then it was, I think, maybe 4 or 5 days before we went to the appointment, I was talking to my friend and I was like, you know what? I just don't feel like they need to be there. You know, I feel like it needs to just be me and Dylan. I just feel like if maybe, God forbid, something happened and they were there, like sometimes when your family is there, it kind of gets you a little bit more emotional. And I just didn't want to, you know, I just had a feeling in my gut that, you know, it should just be me and Dylan. And so me and Dylan went to the appointment. We were waiting in the waiting room, waiting to be called back. We got called back. We saw Hayden, and from what we saw, he looked perfect. And I mean, of course, we're not, you know, ultrasound techs, and we're not, you know, skilled in any field like that. So, you know, we don't really know what we're looking at. We're making sure that like he's moving, he's breathing, his heart's beating, you know, like we're just looking for those things. So we started the sonogram, and we had our same sonogram tech that we had previously. She was really nice, talking to us, you know, being really friendly. And then I would say maybe like 3/4 of the way, when she started measuring the brain and the kidneys and like all of those organs, she just got really quiet. And at the time, like looking back now on it, I realized how quiet she was, but at the time I thought she was just like concentrating, you know, trying to get, you know, what she needed to get. You know, we didn't know anything was wrong. So we finished the ultrasound. She's like, okay, like have a seat in the waiting room. Whenever the doctor gets a chance, she'll come in and go over the sonogram, just, you know, to make sure everything's okay and let you guys know, you know, if there's any issues. We're like, oh, okay. And so we're in the waiting room. You know, we got our sonogram pictures that the lady took, and we're looking at them and sending them to our family, and we're like, oh, you know, he's so cute. And then we're waiting for a little bit, and then the tech calls us back, and she's like, all right, you guys can go to this room. So we go to the room, and we're waiting in there for a few minutes. You know, me and Dylan are just, you know, talking, trying to like pass time. And then the doctor comes in, and she was nice. She came in and she was like, all right, so, you know, everything looked good. You know, baby looks fine, except, and whenever she said except, I honestly don't even remember 75% of the things that she said. I really feel like, okay, I literally was thinking about filming this video for weeks and I was like, I'm not gonna cry. But I feel like my body, like my soul just like left my body. And thank God I had Dylan there because I freaking wouldn't know what she was talking about. Okay, hold on, I need to get a tissue. Okay, so she told us, you know, accept. And so basically what she said was that the ventricles in his brain and the size of his kidneys were enlarged. And from the way that she made it seem, like it wasn't really a big deal, but since it was two like major organs that were affected, that it could potentially be linked to a syndrome like Down syndrome, or, you know, I think she said maybe trisomy or some sort of like chromosome issue. So me and Dylan were just sitting in that room, like, you know, I don't even think I said anything to the doctor. I honestly feel like, from what Dylan told me, I was as white as a ghost and I was like numb. Because, you know, you just don't want to hear anything like that. And so I wrote down, because after we left the room and she was like, you know, it's nothing that I'm super concerned about, but since both of these are enlarged, I'm going to refer you to a specialist. So me and Dylan were like, Dylan asked all the questions, can't even remember what he asked, honestly. And so we leave the room and she's like, I'm gonna, you know, I don't want you guys to go home and Google anything. I don't want you to, you know, stress yourself out. We'll call you when we get an appointment with a specialist, and you guys can go from there. So she leaves the room. She opens up the door for us. We walk out to like the little appointment desk because we had to make an appointment for a month out for just like my normal checkup. And I remember, you know, me and Dylan were sitting at separate sides of the room whenever the doctor was talking to us. And when we walked out and we went to the desk, he like put his arm on my shoulder and he was like, you know, it's gonna be okay. And I just literally can't. And I just like started crying again. And, you know, I'm sitting in front of the lady who's trying to make our appointment. I'm crying, you know, because I'm like, what just happened? Like, what's happening? And the lady's like, are you okay? I'm like, fine, just, you know, need a tissue, you know. So she hands me a tissue. And the thing that kind of like upset me and Dylan is that I don't really feel like the doctor at the office was very comforting. I feel like she kind of just sprung this crazy information on us and just let us go, you know. And I know that she's not a specialist and she doesn't know all the ins and outs and details. She kind of just focuses on what is normal and abnormal, and, you know, will tell parents. But when I was at the appointment desk and I was crying, you know, and the doctor walks over and literally just like hands us a sticky note, like a yellow sticky note, and wrote the two names of the issues that Hayden was having. And, you know, she didn't come out and like, you know, try and console us or like, you know, it's okay, don't freak out, like nothing. And, you know, and that at the time I didn't care, but looking back, I'm like, that, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like she should have been a little bit more concerned, or not concerned, but just consoling. So we get this paper, we get the little sticky note, we make our appointment, we get to the car, you know, and we're both just like what just happened, you know? So and that was on a Friday. August 24th was a Friday. And Dylan had plans that weekend to have like a guys' night, because I was going to the beach with my mom and my sisters and my friend Tyler for like a beach getaway. So I feel like after that appointment, we honestly just like blocked out all of the news that we got. Like, we blocked it out. I mean, it was always in the back of my mind, like that weekend when I was at the beach, like the next couple days. It was always in the back of my mind, like I was worried, but I was honestly just trying to like ignore what I was told so I wouldn't like stress myself out, stress the baby out, like nothing. Like I was just like acted like nothing happened. So that happened Friday. Saturday I went to the beach. Sunday we were also at the beach, and I came back later that evening. And me and Dylan, I feel like that's when it really just hit us, like, because we were both together and we hadn't been since the appointment, and we were alone in our house, and we were kind of just forced to face what was happening and what news we got. And the two things that were wrong with Hayden, I wrote it down just in case anyone is going through a similar situation. They said for his brain at that appointment, his brain was 9.5 millimeters on the right side, so his left ventricles, and the left side was 10.8. And if I'm remembering correctly, I think they said at that time for his like gestational age, because I was 20 weeks, it needed to be, I think, either at 10 or under 10. So the brain was kind of concerning, and then that was the name of that was called ventriculomegaly. I've been trying to figure out how to say this since the day I found out, and I get tongue-tied, which is basically just like enlarged ventricles of the brain. And then the kidneys, the right kidney was 5.2 millimeters and the left was 6.2 millimeters. And I think anything greater than 4 was considered mild renal pyelectasis. So like, if you're not familiar with any of those things, hearing that your, unborn child has 2 crazy sounding name disorders and you have no idea what any of that means or what could come from them, like, it's really, really scary. And so we did what we were not supposed to do. And when we got home together, after we each had our weekends, we Googled things. And let me just tell you, for anyone who might possibly be going into a similar situation, do not Google like anything. Like, ever since the situation, I won't Google like any symptoms I'm having, any like thoughts I might have, like, oh, maybe this. Nope, not Googling, because it put us into a severe panic. Like, I'm telling you, I had panic attacks, like, I would say at least 3 within, let's see, from August 27th until I think that following Sunday. So a week. Like, it was really, really bad. So on Sunday, me and him were Googling things, going crazy, finding out things we didn't want to know. And I was like, listen, I don't know when my doctor's office is going to schedule me for an appointment to see a specialist, but I need one now. Like, I cannot wait however long they're wanting me to wait for. I need to know now what's happening because I'm going crazy. So on Monday, I called my OB office and I asked, where they were trying to find me an appointment at. And they said, oh, we'll call you once we, find an office and we'll let you know. So they called me at the end of the day and said that they had found me an appointment for 3 weeks out. And I was like, okay, like, whatever, And so the rest of the day I was like, no, like, that's not acceptable. Like, I need to know now. I was like, wherever you have an office located, I will go, just take me somewhere. I need answers. And she was like, listen, this is the only office that we're affiliated with, which was lies. Like, she lied to me. Like, bold-faced lied, because after she told me that, I was like, no, like, there can't be only one. I think it was called maternal fetal medicine office, which is like for, specialists, and if your fetus is having issues, like, there's special doctors who specialize in things like that whenever it's, the baby's still in the womb. So I Googled any offices that were affiliated with the one I was already scheduled with, because I knew my insurance, was accepted there. So I Googled an office that was in Orlando, and mind you, that's over like an hour and a half away from me.